So let me repeat the question so that we have the recording as well. It's nice the problem that you present, that when you try to apply the philosophy, the practice at school, well, there is the teacher that is in yourself that comes out and wants to pass on content to say what to do. And so you have hard time in separating, take distance from the teacher and to be the philosopher. So this clear cut that should be there, otherwise it's visible your hidden agenda. So what's the main difficulty? Why it's so difficult to give up, to stop being the teacher, patronizing people?
I think that there's expectations of my position. I'm expected to uphold the structures of the school, the rules, the way things work. And that means that I have to tell people what to do.
Okay, so you want to deserve the title of good representative of the establishment.
Unfortunately, yes. I've never said it that way, but yes.
You are the representative, the minister of the establishment, and you want the establishment to recognize you as a good minister.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it, because you want this recognition from the society, from the club of teachers.
No, I don't think it's mainly about recognition. I think it's about upholding the institution. I think there's a value in the institution, and my role is to keep it strong, keep it going. And
okay, so it's not because you want recognition, but because you strongly believe in the establishment, in the institution.
Yes.
Okay, you think it's good, it's fair, it's doing a good job to have things that they are, and that the student should do. Well, I try to yeah, of course, I'm pushing the limits, but I rephrase exactly for this, to see your reaction, your face.
Yeah. Yeah. The truth is, I don't think it's all good, but I actually have a lot of critiques on the way it's going, but I feel I must be faithful to. I can't let my colleagues down, and it's even if I disagree with some of the things, it's important that I toe the line.
Okay. So let me check. So if you foster free thinking, and this free thinking, which is making sense, and okay, then, and if it goes opposite direction to your colleagues, then you are not faithful to them. So you are betraying your colleagues. Yes, no?
Yes. It shouldn't be that way,
sense
but
of loyalty.
Yeah.
Huh? Sorry?
Yeah. It shouldn't be that way. I think we would probably...
Let's go step by step.
Yeah.
Then what should be, now what it is.
Yes.
Okay, because I have already tried twice and you pushed me back. With good representative of the establishment, then loyal and faithful to your colleagues, and then strong beliefs in the establishment, in the rules, you are pushing me back because you don't like my description.
Yeah.
It's I'm describing what you say. So it's already three things that you went through, you listed, and then anytime I rephrase them, which is a good rephrase because you don't say it's not, doesn't make sense, then you push back because there is something nasty there. I understand. I know that you say in a better way, but I intentionally say it in a rather vivid and flesh and bones way.
Yeah.
So if it's not that one, okay, we investigate further. But now I have already the feeling, the impression that we touched three things, and one of those is the one.
Well, I think they're connected, you know, they're all about,
Yeah, okay.
They're all about something similar, about yeah, caring more about the system as about thinking, caring more about upholding the system and control, maintaining control.
Okay. Well, so again, let's see, because these are, I agree, these are three faces of the same coin, what we said. But then what is the face that speaks to you the most? It's about your own beliefs, that you strongly believe something, or it's because it's the establishment, it's the order you want to uphold, you want to be a good representative there, or it's the loyalty, faithfulness to your colleagues, that is different from uphold the system. Your colleagues is a group, are people. You have the face, you have their faces in mind. So I agree they are connected, but which one is more important, or it's more the reason for which you don't let yourself be a philosopher?
I think my colleagues.
Okay, your colleagues, is the group.
Or what particularly one colleague, I would say, my boss, basically.
Okay, so it's the loyalty, or the fact that you want to how to say, to backend, to support your boss. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for any reason, because he's a good man, a good person, or because he helped you in the past, you want to pay him back. Okay, so it's about the colleagues. And if you foster free thinking, there might be some opinion that is divergent, but going in a different direction. He will not be happy. Okay.
Yeah, it will threaten the what she is trying to build.
Okay. Well, so there's this person, and okay, let's investigate a bit further. What is the idea? Let's try to get some concrete idea. What is the one idea that you were about to foster, to allow in your free thinking moment with the students, that is opposite, it is divergent from the line that the headmaster or the manager is giving? Ciao, Samuel.
Hi.
Hi, Samuel.
Oh, well, Sven, let's make a pause. I see it's something intense, but it's nice. So in order to release, to lower a little bit the tension, the intensity, well, let's involve Samuel and tell him what's going on, what shortly, but where is the point we are now?
So Samuel, I started telling Luca about a tension that I experience in my work of my daily work as a teacher, that I try to be a philosopher and encourage young people to think, but at the same time, I have a job as a teacher, which is often to tell them what to think or to what to do, you know, to give them very clear direction. And so I tend to have an agenda where I make it seem like I'm just questioning in the way of a philosopher, but my questions are trying to get them to do something specific or to think something specific, to convince them of something, my agenda. And so Luca is trying to get me to think about why I stick with my agenda of why I can't let go more of the teacher side and just encourage people to think freely and critically, and why I stick with this wanting to get them to do something or to think specific things.
And did you figure it out a possible answer, an hypothesis, or not?
Yes, so we've come to the hypothesis that I do this because of loyalty to my colleagues and specifically to my boss. I don't want to let my boss down, because if I was to encourage students to think, they might think things that go against the rules of the school, which my boss is the main person who instills them and tries to create the structure.
And do you have a philosopher boss? A boss also in when you practice philosophy, or not?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say there's a boss as a person, but maybe certain principles that are leading me when I'm a philosopher, not a specific person.
Okay, so you have a boss, but he hasn't any face. He's not a human boss.
Yeah.
What are the principles that are in that function when you feel obliged to feel the duty?
One principle would be to, as much as possible, let yourself die so that you can be completely with the others' thinking.
According this duty, is more probable that you will follow. According to this duty, is more probable that you avoid to follow an agenda or follow an agenda?
Avoid to follow an agenda.
So it's quite contradictory, your reasoning, because you said that even in normal days, when you do philosophy, you feel obliged by a boss, but this boss not existing, killing yourself, is the contrary of being under a boss.
Yeah, that's the contradiction, is that I'm trying to be a teacher who has a specific role and a role in an organization, and a philosopher at the same time, and the intentions of those two things are often contradictory.
Mm. And why do you want to be two different things at the same time?
I think it's possible to integrate them in some way, or at least to be able to jump between them.
Do you think that you answered to my question?
No, I didn't. Why do I want to? I see value
To
in,
reason out loud.
yeah. I see value in both of those things.
And you are so greedy that you can avoid to have both of the values, both of the advantages. Or not? There are a lot of things that have one of them its own value, but I don't think you make everything in order to accomplish all the values, to fulfill all the values.
I don't know. Well, I guess that I'm in a process of change. I think I worked as a teacher for some years, and the more I learn about philosophical practice, the more I want to rather do that kind of work. But I'm still I still like the comfort of being in the role of a teacher and the security of this job.
What I cannot understand, is hard to me to understand, is why you transport this attitude even in other scenarios, in other contexts. At school, I can easily imagine that you feel the duty to be the best teacher, or maybe a good teacher. But outside the school, it's not needed to be a teacher. Do you behave as a teacher when you go in a supermarket to do shopping?
No, not then, but I do behave as a teacher in other times.
If you don't do this, you lose the value of doing the professor or the teacher, even in the supermarket. You have to do, because you want all the values, right? Starting with tomorrow, you have to promise me that you go to the supermarket and you behave like a teacher, even in a supermarket.
You'll be surprised. Sometimes people complain that I, like friends or my girlfriend will complain that I'm too much the teacher in the relationship.
No, I'm not surprised at all. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So it's a way to feel safe, to feel sure, since you repeat it as a pattern in different situations.
Yes.
Why don't you feel safe?
I've always needed a role. I feel like if I have a role, if I have a certain structure to how I am, and then I don't have to think that much. Just
why do you laugh?
Because it's another contradiction that I want to think and be a philosopher, but I also like to do things that save me from thinking.
Yeah. And how can you solve this contradiction? Or is a necessary contradiction? You have to commit.
I think there's in some sense, I have to accept that I obviously need this security, but that maybe I can help, maybe I can start to, maybe I need it, I don't have to have it in all settings, maybe there's a place to trust people and to trust myself more in some settings, that I don't have to take this teacher role anymore. I don't have to do it all the time.
Words, but a little bit spooky, a little bit generic.
Okay.
I cannot imagine a concrete practice or activity from your sentences. It's hard to me. Can you help me?
Yeah. Okay. Whenever I realize that I'm being a teacher outside of school, then I stop doing that. I just stop doing that.
And this kind of behavior can solve a contradiction, at least according to Aristotle. I imagine that you know Aristotle and his philosophy, right?
No, not in depth.
Okay, Aristotle was the first Western philosopher that described formally a contradiction. And he said that a contradiction happens only when it occurs a sentence and his contrary at the same time and from the same perspective. I think that this idea of Aristotle can apply also to you, because it seems that you have a tendency that pushes you to consider two different scenarios, two different situations at the same time. And from this mixing comes out contradiction. Does it work for you or not?
Do you mean, does this analysis work for me, or does
this analysis? Yes, this idea of Aristotle, why a contradiction occurs?
Because I consider two opposing statements or ways of being from the same perspective at the same time.
Yeah, it is does it make it sense for you?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you identify the two different perspectives that you mix?
The one perspective is that I want people to do a certain thing. I want to force them. I want to control.
Yeah.
And the other perspective is that I want freedom, that I want people to be free. Yeah.
But if you first don't want to think, it's hard to make think other people.
Yeah.
What can be heavy or difficult in thinking?
you you think things that are uncomfortable or that contradict your way of living.
So it's not pleasant, the result that you sometimes have from thinking.
Yes.
And you don't like unpleasant things. But you don't seem to me an hedonist.
Yeah, I actually like to I don't like comfort very much. I try to, I don't know, it's difficult to say. The one, well, I do criticize myself a lot. I don't let myself rest, you know, just
Do you think that you are more an intellectual guy or a moral guy?
moral.
Moral. You said rules. You say that you feel obliged or forced. You want to be free. And generally, a person that wants to be free is not free. And the moral is a good way not to be free, not to feel free.
I'll leave you guys a couple of minutes more, then we change the topic.
Okay. If we have only 2 minutes, maybe it could be interesting to do an assessment. What can you say till now, since regarding the discussion we had, related to your problem, your initial problem, the difficulty to kill yourself and not be pragmatic or moral?
I think that my tendency to want to have to stick to my agenda, which I immediately blamed on this thing of being a teacher. I think the teacher is just sort of the surface level of it, that it has more to do with maybe the reason I even became a teacher, which is that I feel security in moral systems, in structures, in rules and things like that. And
you are a traditionalist.
Yeah.
That want to transfer the knowledge, the right rules to new generations, in order to not change anything. Or you are more a rebel?
I'm more a traditionalist. I would say
You don't like to be a traditionalist.
No, I don't. I like to think of myself as a rebel traditionalist.
A rebel traditionalist.
Of course.
You want to be unique, special.
Yeah, philosopher, teacher, a rebel traditionalist.
Okay. Did you like our little conversation till now?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Yes. It's helping me to see the underlying issues that have less to do with, you know, the sort of superficial sides of my life, which is the job, and rather that's a manifestation of something, some core issues in my being. So I liked that I liked to go deeper Yeah. I'm, you know, at the same time, I'm curious because of course, I recognize there's a strong tendency towards traditionalism, yet why am I attracted? You know, why do I keep on doing these things like philosophical practice or other things that seem to be going in the opposite way? You know, why do it's a tension it's not like I'm completely happy in the traditionalist.
You are a traditionalist, but it seems that you are also a greedy person, one that wants control, wants everything under his eyes or decision. So maybe this can explain these two difficult, the contradictory elements you provided, in the sense that when you are a traditionalist, you are not satisfied enough of what it is, and you want everything.
So it's a combination of traditionalist, but then being extremely greedy and also wanting to not be a traditionalist.
Yeah. And this leads to unsatisfaction.
Yeah.
Because you criticize yourself for what you are and also for what you want. You don't see very agree, but I think we finished our time. So
yeah. No, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Okay, good. So we had you had two philosophers, half an hour consultation each. So good. So now let's go with what we were supposed to do during this time, this workshop, which is a workshop group. Workshop. The topic is about workshop. So I selected a video, a workshop that we should analyze. So somewhere I put a link of the document in the chat.
Thank you.
You can open it, and then it would be well. There is also the link to the video. It's a workshop that we ran in La Chapelle last summer. It's a Jérôme workshop. So you don't have to open the recording. I will share my screen and we will watch simultaneously my screen. And then you use the document to take notes. So I will stop every few minutes, maybe 1 minute. And in the meantime, you take notes. If you see problems, if you have a remark, if there is something that is a good inspiration for you that you want to steal. So if you want to steal something, you take note, what to steal from Jérôme or from idea, inspiration, or also something that could be done differently. So it doesn't mean that it's a problem, that it's a mistake, but while we open also to other possibilities. So that's it. You might have to increase the volume, while I chose a video, a recording which is quite clear, the audio, but still it's a bit low. So let me share the screen. And wait, I should improve the audio setting, optimize for video clip. Yes.
Okay, so today I'm going to, I don't need to introduce myself. Okay, so today I'm going to propose you an exercise about what conditions you, because I had this idea during Oscar's first speech, where at one stage he was talking about self-conditioners or something, and I thought it could have been a good exercise to make you reflect, each of you, on what conditions you. So, condition, of course, is something which imprisons you or determines you, on the contrary of freedom. So, the question I'm going to ask you is, and I would like you to write it, but not on the document yet, just on your personal notebook, is what conditions you the most? What conditions you the most? And you answer it with just one concept, and then you explain why. Why you think it is this concept that conditions you the most.
Okay, I stop here. Did you manage to hear and to follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any remarks till now?
The presentation is quite boring. It's too slow, and it is interrupted by pauses, so the effect is boring. But the exercise is simple and is explained in a clear way.
Okay, so it's more on the communicative skills of Jerome that should be more concise and energizing. It's not energizing. Okay, yeah. Sven, something from your side?
I also thought that the task was explained clearly. I like that he said he made it even more explicit, answer with the concept and then give a reason for the concept. I didn't find it so boring, but it certainly wasn't energizing either.
Okay, yeah. But then, well, this is something that also maybe has to do with, well, I don't want to justify Jerome, but well, maybe it was after the lunch, the digestion ongoing. No, but fine. Yeah. So at least the task was clear. Maybe it was repetitive. It was not very energized, enthusiastic. It was not, but okay. Well, but let's see later. Can be something that will recur, that we will meet again. Maybe it's a sign of low energy in the workshop. Might be already a sign for it. Good. So I go on.
Okay. And then, well, we will start from here. Yeah. So basically, you give an argument to support the concept. Who did not understand the instruction? Raise your hand. Okay. Kate, what did you understand?
I understand that we are writing a concept and an argument for what can...
Excuse me, I think you should have a mic. Please try to have a mic on each side so that we don't waste...
It's good. We can hear you.
I understand that we are writing a concept and an argument to respond to what conditions you the most.
Perfect. What do you want more?
Your definition of condition is a bit unexpected, and I'm wondering... Yeah?
It's unexpected, okay? Right?
Yeah.
So what did you expect? As we say in commercial.
Condition, meaning like Pavlov's dog conditioning.
What?
Pavlov's dog conditioning?
Yeah, okay. So it can be a condition, right? It's like it's a bit a very strong conditioning, but okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. Don't seem so. I take it for granted. Okay.
Okay, let's stop again. Open for your comments, remarks, problems that you see.
It's interesting that the philosopher asked two different kind of questions about the comprehension of the instructions. The first was raise your hand if you didn't understand, and visibly no one raised his hand. So the philosopher continued by asking approve of the comprehension. A question that asks what did you comprehend it? Did you comprehend? And this is interesting to test the fact that the clients are following the process.
Yeah, well, he asked who did not understand the task, and then there was a little pause. No one was raising the hand, but then, well, apparently Kate raised the hand and was saying, well, she was muttering something we didn't understand, and then she had a different understanding, and then the philosopher wanted to check this different understanding. Okay, if you don't understand, but you have some idea, you have a weird face, well, so tell me what you got, what you did understand. Okay, so it's a kind of switch or a change in the strategy.
Yeah, a flexibility we can see in the philosopher, because based on what is the reaction of the public, he changes his way of leading, his way of questioning. And this is something that I want to steal, checking not only if someone didn't understood, but also what he understand.
Okay. And this would be interesting or efficient in what occasion? Because everywhere or some occasion would be more suitable to use this checking.
It would be more interesting when the public is not very agree. I would say isn't in the same direction. Seems not to have understood. For example, from their faces, as you said.
Okay. So if you have the impression that there is something that, okay, they don't raise their hand, but I think they didn't understand, then you check the opposite. What did you understand of the task?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, or if it's a group, particularly a new group that is not used to this, they might, they have that tendency to not say when they don't understand something. People feel ashamed to ask a question often. They might be in that old habitual way of being, that they rather accept their ignorance than state that they don't understand something.
Yeah. Yes. So this is the another occasion where it might be useful to check the reverse. First, you ask what's the problem. Well, no problem. Okay. Also, what's the good? What's the thing that you understand? Yeah, it's like when we see it often in a different fashion. This reverse check. When you ask during a workshop, is anyone is lost? Well, okay, well, no one is lost, but who is following? And then half of the people raise the hand. Well, it means that the other half should have raised the hand before. And this is always funny. It always strikes me. But it's that by transposition is the same technique, the same tool. Okay.
didn't understand the part of the dialogue between Kate and Jerome. I understood that Kate didn't comprehend the use of the word condition, but I didn't catch the way Jerome solved this issue.
Okay, yes. Sven, you remember?
She said he asked her to explain her understanding of condition, because the issue was the word usage of the word condition. She said that it was a surprising way that he used it. So she was unexpected. And then he said, okay, tell me what you expected. So tell me your understanding of conditioning. And then she mentioned the conditioning in the sense of Pavlov's dog, like behaviorist conditioning. And then he seemed to accept that. He said,
That's quite hard form of.
Yes, he said that's a bit hard, but it still works, I think. He seemed to think it was fine.
So he included the specific example raised by Kate into his general definition of condition, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He included, well, let me rephrase it a bit, because he included, it doesn't, what he did is not that he takes Kate's proposal and makes it for everyone. No, what he does, it means that, okay, that is one interpretation of conditioning. I'm fine with it. If you want to go with it, you go. I don't want to say more than what I said. Exactly, because you can take it like that, another person can take it in a different way. So
okay,
it's and I face it quite often. For instance, also in a Telegram chat that I'm running, the over definition problem.
Yes.
When people want to over define, they go to the dictionary or they go to science, then there is a rigidity is going to rule, to make the whole workshop rigid, because we have a definition, but then we lose the flexibility, the richness of the words. So conditioning, well, Jerome said 2-3 words at the beginning. It's about conditioning. It's like a prison, imprisoning you, determining you, and opposed to freedom. He opposed it to another concept. So, and that was more than enough for Jerome to explain conditioning.
So in a way, Jerome ignored the criticism by Kate, raised by Kate.
Yes.
He didn't consider it relevant.
Yes, because Kate wanted to define more, and he said, well, no, I will not define more. Tell me your meaning. Oh, and they said, oh, okay, we can go for the workshop with your meaning. So use your meaning to write.
And this is useful in a way to maintain the flexibility in a client, but also not to complicate too much the workshop, the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
And well, I will use here also another principle of the practice, which is to make people, participants, the client, self-sufficient. You don't need more from me. You have everything you need to make the work. So you want that meaning of conditioning, go with that meaning. You have it, you have enough for doing your job. So don't...
It's not a matter of knowledge, but it's a matter of thinking.
Yes, it's a matter of thinking. And most of the times, this type of questions or request of definition come from insecure people. Well, I don't understand. I want definition. And the definition, they want so much the definition that then the exercise is not worth anymore. Because then we killed all the richness of the thinking, and we are in a specific field, scientific field, or moral field, or ethic, or religion. So that's the. There are a few things here that are interesting. First of all, Jerome noticed this risk coming from Kate. Well, immediately, it's not what I expected. This is always suspicious.
Yeah.
Comes from the participant. Oh, well, you said something I didn't expect. Well, okay, so it means that you have an expectation. Tell me your expectation. So because when you have an expectation, well, here you see, Sven, it's quite curious that when you have an expectation, it's like when you know the right answer, when you know what should be said. So Jerome proposed a definition or an idea of conditioning that did not match Kate's knowledge or Kate's expectation. And curiously enough, Kate is a teacher. Good. So, something else? We go? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Anybody else? Yes. What's your name again?
Pepe.
Can you put your name on your image, Pepe?
No.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Does conditions meaning concern?
Excuse me. Can you repeat?
Does condition mean concern?
Concern. Well, I would say it depends on the level of concern that you have. If it's a slight concern, then we might not say that it's conditioning you. But if it becomes obsessive and very intense, then yes, it would probably be conditioning. Okay. And besides, you're talking about some mental state conditioning, but of course there can be other forms of conditioning. Okay. So, anybody?
Okay. Something you want to remark, to highlight problems, or
Now seems that Jerome makes the rule of the teacher, because instead of making a Pepe think, he prefers to give an answer as a matter of knowledge instead of a matter of thinking.
yeah, because he was replying to the answer.
Yeah.
I
Generally, also, and even in our workshop, this is not the tendency, because we tend to reject the question to the client himself.
Yeah. So, well, let's explore another possibility here. What could have been a different possibility? Well, you can deal with, when you have a question, well, you can deal with the question in many different ways. One of the classical way is to answer the question. And here is what he did. He answered the question. Okay, let's say that, well, normally we don't answer questions, we make questions because you are a philosopher. Okay, so other possibility. Let's open.
You could have put it out to the group.
Yes, he could go to the group with the very same question, for instance. So who wants to answer Pepe question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
what are you thinking?
Oh, wow.
you can question the question. You can ask to the group, or you can ask about the attitude. Why is so important or important to you to establish this identity?
Okay. Yeah, okay, because you see that this is a kind of reassuring request.
Yeah.
That Pepe wanted to be reassured that she can interpret conditioning as a concern.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she tries to do it, modifying the terms that we established as a community. So it's not very useful, because I imagine that another client in a few minutes would ask, oh, we can consider condition also this or that, and we can
okay. So maybe Pepe was triggered by Kate's question. Well, can I consider the Pavlov classical psychological conditioning as conditioning? And then she wants to say, okay, well, but I want to use concern. Is it fine?
Yeah.
And then it's okay. All the students raising the hand. And hey, if I consider this as a conditioning. Okay. So better to kill immediately the trend, the risk trend.
Establish the rules.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I think Jerome's answering the question was an attempt just to get on with the activity. But maybe it would have been better to kill it with a question, because it's, as you say, then if you answer that, then you might be answering the next person and approving everybody's different understanding of it.
Yeah. This might be indeed the risk, because he killed more or less Kate with her request. But then there was Pepe, and he answered Pepe. And you open a little bit the door to this tendency, to this behavior. Okay, yeah. So it's better to push it back, this reassuring request, or to reveal it immediately. So this insecurity coming from the participant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes Oscar says, uses the expression, "Do I look like your mother?" That has to reassure you. Am I a priest? Or it's kind of expressions. Okay. Good. Let's go on.
Still has a problem with the instructions? Okay, so I give you, let's say, 2 minutes, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, I scroll forward.
Okay, so who would like to share with us his answer? Raise your hand. Kate, could you please pick someone?
Arnon.
So far, good. You want to say something, or I go on?
I think it's okay. It's interesting that Jerome continued with Kate, made Kate decide the person that has the duty of speaking.
Yeah, well, okay, yes. He picked Kate that he had just that she had just spoken, and so the idea is that he should go to someone else, to someone who didn't speak yet.
Yeah. Or maybe he did this to break ice. he used Kate because she had just spoken. So he knew that she would be available to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just that, okay, choose someone, you will not speak, you just choose someone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be me, let's go with participants.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I go on.
Arna, what did you answer?
My concept was fear.
Here, okay.
This is the condition that I find most disabling in my life.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you think that you explain to us why fear is the most disabling in your life?
No.
Okay. Can you do this? Because do you agree that here you only give us a concept, right? Well,
Yes.
okay, you spoke about disabling in your life, but it's a bit implicit.
Yes.
So what is your proof that fear is the most disabling? Because maybe it's competing against anger, for example.
Okay, we stop here. Maybe there is already something to say.
Yeah, I like that he immediately got Anon to give a full answer with a justification, and he didn't just accept that half answer.
Yeah, okay, because he wanted, what was the instruction? To give an argument, to explain, to justify.
To explain.
What was the argument?
Concept, I think he said concept and explain it. Okay,
concept and explained it. So he said, well, did you explain it or not? And then now he is going to work on this. So you think that he picked that the explanation was problematic?
Yes, he could have asked the group to see if they noticed something, but in this case he chose to just highlight it himself.
Yeah. Okay. So here he's making the work. He's not launching the ball to the group. He's doing it. Okay. Well, and we noticed this little tendency from the beginning as well, because one of the alternative he had was to ask to ask the group to deal with pay question.
Yeah.
For instance, and well, the option was there a couple of times, but he did not go for it. He's confirming this tendency, at least. Well, of course, it's only 10 minutes, but still we see this style, this approach to the workshop.
Yes.
Or something else, Samuel?
No, I agree with Sven. It is quite related to his agenda, Jerome. It seems that he's more interested to make the workshop go as his expectations than to make a generic participation.
Okay, so you try to guess, to make an hypothesis what could be behind Jerome tendency.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I want to work, I will do the job because this way I will control, I will make the steps that I want the workshop to make.
Yeah.
Because if I open to participants, then it might be a never-ending parenthesis in my workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed, this is a way to keep control of the workshop, to keep the agenda and to keep not to open too much to participants.
Yeah.
Good. We go.
Fear is the condition that I submit to the most.
Yeah. Do you think you added anything new?
No.
And by the way, are you accustomed to this speaking? I would qualify it empty, meaning that you don't provide any new things. Do you agree?
Yes.
Are you accustomed to this habit?
No.
Oh, well, I stop here because there is something interesting here. So either you tell me or I tell you.
Jerome goes directly to the attitude to the client of the client.
Yeah.
He conceptualizes at the place of the client what the client is doing, and he rejects to the client what he noticed.
Okay, and well, he used the concept, he used an expression that we use is a problem in argumentation, actually.
Yeah. Empty.
Yeah, and it's the empty answer, the empty argument. It's and just repeating the same.
Yeah, and he promptly tried to explain, maybe because Jerome understood that it could be not very clear for a newbie, a new one that take part to the workshop.
Oh yes, he repeated the problem twice. Yeah. So yes, well, here we notice that Jerome is the one naming the problem, giving the specific name for the problem in unknown answer, and then he's presenting the bill to the customer. I mean, well, you are you accustomed to do it in your life? Does it happen often to you? So it's or is it something that you do usually? So yeah. So here we also notice this shift. Here Jerome starts to go to the person, to the subject. So this is already something that is interesting because okay, it's 10 minutes in the workshop. He didn't do it before. He was passing by with Kate. He did not do it at all with Pei. He stated the content, but here, okay, here no. Here we go to the subject.
Yeah, but for a formal reason. For this reason, I think that Jerome is more rigid than flexible, because he tries to challenge the client specifically when he has in the same sense we spoke before with Sven, okay. A rule.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So here the going to the subject was triggered by a problem in the content that he spotted. Okay. While before it was triggered by a question that had no problem in the content, because it's a very innocent question, if we want to say like this, pay question. Can I understand conditioning as concern? Yeah. And then, but still there was the possibility to go for it. Could have spotted. Okay, yes. So indeed, you can, there are different triggers for going to the subject. Yeah. And Jerome used this one. Okay, so you think that, okay, it might reveal some a tendency in Jerome, but he's fine to go to the subject when it's clear to him a problem in the content.
Yeah.
Then might be more difficult for Jerome to pick on the subject directly.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if Sven agrees.
I'm not, I wasn't really following. I wasn't following.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, let's repeat, because this is something that I didn't think before. It's interesting for me as well. So now I know, I see it clearly, this distinction, that you can go to the subject when you notice a problem in the content, in the work that someone does. So you ask if it happens often. So you try to abstract or to transpose from the exercise to the rest of the life. And this is, okay, it's quite formal, how you call it, Samuel, because it comes from a problem in the form, in the exercise. Another thing is when you notice a problem in the attitude, when you smell it. When you smell, but the work, the content is fine, but then the smell, the savor is, okay, there might be something here, let's go to poke there.
Yeah.
And that was the example Sven was with PayPay. When we said that, okay, well, PayPay question comes from the fact that Kate raised a different view, then PayPay has another one, she wants to be reassured. Okay, then with PayPay question, you can smell this reassuring business.
Yes.
But if you smell it, it doesn't come from a problem in the question, in the content, but it comes from an attitude because it was triggered by another person. Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, makes sense. And then, so now since we are also profiling people, so if this is recurring, if we notice in Jerome again this tendency, then we can say, hey, Jerome, yeah, you go to the subject when this happens, but there is another line for working on the subject and you don't pick on it. Then how come? Might be a question for Jerome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would,
okay.
I would distinguish, because I think I would distinguish the first with Pepe would have, if he would have mentioned something that would have been about her attitude, whereas with Anon it was, I wouldn't use the word attitude, I would say thinking, functioning of his thinking. It's
okay, yes.
He noticed that he often will say empty things. I don't know if that's an attitude or just a habitual way of thinking, or a way of thinking. I don't know if it's the same as an attitude. I don't think it's the same as an attitude.
No. No, it's not the same as an attitude. Well, of course, if it is a way of thinking, then it becomes also an attitude. But what we used here, we said two different ways to go to the subject, to challenge the subject.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you can challenge the subject with the attitude or with the way of thinking, the worldview, the way of, but the way of thinking, it's also the way of being. So at a certain moment, the distinctions between attitude and way of thinking, it fades away. But yes, it's true that the trigger was a way of thinking, not the attitude with Arnon, and with Pepe would have been the attitude. But both ways is the work on the subject. We start the work on the subject.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Let's continue.
So it's rare that when you speak, you don't add anything, right?
To mine, no.
So it's frequent.
Sorry, it's rare.
It's rare. Okay. So then tell us why. Why is that? Why is fear? Well, you don't know.
I don't know.
We don't. Okay. And did you know that you don't know?
No.
Okay. Well, now you know that you don't know.
Yes.
Does it make you more fearful or less fearful?
So here, anything you want to remark?
There's a
highlight?
rare. Jerome received as an answer the fact that it's rare, according to the client, to be I don't remember what, to be empty,
Empty.
to make empty speeches, and he didn't challenge the apparently contradiction between performative contradiction between what the client was doing in that moment and his speech, his answering, because Oscar generally asks, oh, so this is a special moment in which you are specifically empty. You are saying that.
Also, he gave two empty answers, one after the other.
Yeah, and he maintains, but no, it's rare. Normally I don't do it.
Yeah, and Jerome didn't address this contradiction. He jumped away to the next topic.
Yeah, okay, but then now he's coming back because he wants the reason.
But asking something that is not a good move, according to me. Asking if he rather doesn't know. Generally, when we think, we don't care if we know or not know what we are discussing on. So that question was a sort of a failure, a sort of admission that you can answer only if you know.
Okay, yeah. So he wanted to well, I don't know. Yes, okay. I don't know if he was intentional, this, or a failure. He wanted to pass by. Okay, so you interpret it as a failure, so as a inefficient question.
Yeah, a question that you can imagine the answer. In fact, the client answered, okay, I don't know. You give me the chance to say, I don't know, I take it.
Okay. So you mean that because then now he's proposing an idea with the fearfulness, but then he should at least give a chance to the other person to find an answer. Why this moment is so special.
Yeah.
And then you might propose an hypothesis, but
yeah, maybe Jerome could wait a couple of more seconds in order to let him think, because I noticed that during a workshop, when you silence the discussion, the person is forced to think, and what the person doesn't want is precisely not thinking. So asking, or you don't know, it's an easy way to escape. Allows the escape of the client.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Now you make me think that there are moments in which is allowed to answer I don't know, and there are moments in which no, it doesn't make sense that you don't know. If you say I don't know it because you don't want to think, you don't want to say, you don't want to answer, you want to hide. And in fact, there is also Oscar sometimes accepts or invites. Well, and you say, okay, if you know, you give me an answer. If you don't know, you don't know. You tell me you don't know. But then people are taking advantage of the I don't know, and he pushes back. Well, no, this is about yourself. It's you who should give me the answer. You cannot not know. You have to know.
It's a kind of responsibility that you.
Yes, it's a responsibility. And then, only at the end, well, if the person cannot come up with anything, then he proposes idea. But first he challenges the okay. And in this case, while you give empty arguments, It's not usual. Okay, so why today in this moment you gave an empty argument? So it's something that you should know.
Yeah.
About you. It's about what conditions you. How come that you do something that you never do?
Yeah.
Who's the best entitled to know it, if not you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We go on a little bit more.
More fearful.
I'm sorry about that. Why?
Because not knowing makes me more fearful.
Okay, but again, you think you added a new concept? Or you're just repeating?
Just repeating.
Okay. Now I start to have a suspicion about you, you know, that you have an empty speech.
Yes.
Right? Am I right to be suspicious?
Yes.
Okay, so you bullshitted me before.
Yes.
It's hard to admit.
Yes.
Why? First, did you see a lot of bullshit here since you arrived? I mean,
In the whole seminar?
well, everywhere, a lot of bullshitters.
Yes.
Okay, that's not that surprising, right?
Right.
So why are you bothered?
It's okay.
Okay, now you reconcile.
Yes.
You surrender.
Yes.
A bit fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Sven, did you manage to follow a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now what happens here?
Well, finally, it is clear that this is not just once in an unusual thing. It's that this is part of his normal functioning. This empty answering, empty speech.
Yeah. He eventually, Jerome eventually brings up to the surface, to visibility, to the light, but well, no, it's not occasional. It's not a special occasion today. Well, it's always, because again, you are telling me, you're giving me an empty answer. You're just reshuffling the words that you used before. No new concept. And so, well, I start to think that that's your way of thinking. And well, no, he speaks about the speech. It's your usual speech that is empty. Okay, and then from there he starts to challenge a little bit more the subject, the participant. Yeah. Something else?
Yes, I considered again Jerome a little bit rigid because in the first part of this session, he again used as automatic way of speaking of the practitioners. He make notice the client the fact that he again didn't give a new concept, that for a client that is at his first steps in the practice, it is not very understandable. And we can see that the client didn't understand because 3 times at least he provided an answer that has no new concept. There were at least at all tautologies.
Okay, but then I don't get the rigidity here. Why the rigidity? Because he's not pedagogical, or?
It's very, yes, it's not pedagogical, and it's very automatic in using the terms of the practice without expliciting.
Okay. So you refer to bullshit. You are bullshitting me to this one or something. Yeah.
No, the question about did you notice that you again didn't provide any new concept in your answer?
Okay. So it's the idea of a concept.
Yeah, the new concept.
A new concept. Okay.
We usually understand it because we are trained in giving an answer that at least rises a new concept. But for a person that maybe doesn't.
Okay. So here you think, yeah, if a person is not accustomed then to use the new concept, okay, when you make a speech, to be used and familiar with identification of concepts, then it's not obvious that you did not provide a new concept. So I have to tell you that you didn't bring new ideas or new words compared to what we used before.
I think that Rome is very used in the practice and takes, and maybe it's a risk for those that practice a lot for many years, to take for granted some concepts as if they are very clear.
Yeah, see, no, now I understand. Well, I was a little bit doubting here because I know that Arnon knows the practice. So that's why it's not the case, but indeed is a risk, what you mentioned here. With someone not accustomed to the practice, to use like that, you did not bring a new concept. Well, what do you mean? I did not bring a new concept. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. So, let's watch a couple of minutes more of the workshop.
You know that there is a say in French is that okay, I will say it in French. It's from Le Cid de Corneille. It's a very famous play. Is à vaincre sans péril, on triomphe sans gloire. If you win without obstacles, without danger, you triumph without glory. See? So it means that it's always good that when you surrender, it's after a little fight. Otherwise, if it's too fast, it's a suspicion that there's like a false surrender. And by the way, we could make the distinction between a real surrender and a false surrender, because, by the way, surrendering can also be a false strategy. It could be inauthentic. So you think it was authentic surrendering or inauthentic?
I think it was inauthentic surrendering.
Okay, so you're ready to fight again?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the... So did you bullshit me or no?
Yes.
Okay, well, maybe here it might be the case to stop again because he made something wrong. He brought in a new idea. Okay, comments on this part?
It's sort of a meta reflection on the quality of the dialogue they've just had, that it was Jerome wants to, I guess I think there was an agenda of saying that this surrendering was too easy, that he didn't put up enough of a fight.
Yeah. And then he's challenging this idea. Hey, how come that you are surrendering so easily? When it means that it doesn't mean surrender, it means something else. He's suspicious.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerome asked this idea through a question instead of a speech in which he described proudly, I would say, the proverb of his native language. Maybe would be more interactive with the client, asking something like this. For example, is it possible to have a fake surrender, to manifest a fake surrender? And the result would be the same.
Yeah, okay. So yes, you can ask, yeah, is it possible to surrender, to have a fake surrendering, or that when one surrender too easily, it means that he has a different agenda in mind, that just he wants you to stay calm or to go away. Yeah. Yeah, yes, you can do it with questions instead of with a proverb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And here is with the quick surrender, it comes to my mind also another thing. Well, it's another way to false surrender. When you object to someone, when you say something, when you make a critic, and the other one says, yes, you're right. And then he goes away and he keeps doing the same, or he does not pay attention to you. To say, yes, you're right, it means actually, yes, fuck you. That's what it means. So it's, and this was the little bit the what Arnaud did. Yeah. Okay, yes, it was. You're right. I surrender. Yes, it's true. I'm always like this. Now just leave me in peace. Okay, good.
Torture.
Yeah, stop the torture. Good, Samuel. Sven, I would stop here watching the workshop, and well, then I just well, I would pick a couple of comments on the workshop in itself, on not that workshop, but our workshop, on the workshop. So if you want to pick on something, to nail some teaching or reflection.
I think it's very useful to look at other workshop, to take a watch to other workshop, because the close watching compared with the close reading can make us able to detect other ways of doing the same thing that Jerome did, and have how do you say in Italian is ventaglio of possibility.
Range, I think that we can use range.
A range of possibilities to use promptly when you do the workshop, because you have in mind this archive, this list of possible challenges or questions or way of doing leading the workshop. So it is really interesting to see such a recording and stop after a couple of minutes to make a sort of brainstorming. And what is most visible the most in what I watched is the risk of being too much directive and take the workshop as a moment in which you can manifest what you know, what you can do, instead of make larger, great participation between the clients.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But it's always a risk, or identifies a style. But you work too much, you want to do it yourself, or you relaunch the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sven, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think just like Oscar usually says, that the being is evident in every, in the details of a person's speech. The being comes through. I think you notice a lot about Jerome's, his own way of thinking in the way that he leads a workshop, and that it made me think about the way I lead a workshop and how it's exposes my own limitations, or my own preoccupations, and
Yes, the way you lead a workshop reveals a lot about yourself. Well, here Jerome is doing the work of the practice because he makes people think. It's no doubt that's not a problem, that he's not a good practitioner. He is a practitioner. He doesn't get stuck, but it's true that he, at least for the 15 minutes we saw, he's not relaunching the dialogue between participants. He's dealing with the issue himself. He's got a specific preference for issues. Of course, we can see the work of thinking in the participants and in Jerome. But yeah, it's true that it reveals the way of being of Jerome.
In this sense, Jerome is more a teacher in these 15 minutes, of course, and for his attitude, than an Oscar Berenfiel, I would say.
Yeah.
For only these 15 minutes, because maybe he is very good in other workshops. But here,
yes. Well, of course, also Oscar, there are moments in which he deals with problems and he's not going to open to other participants, so he does the thing and he goes. So if we are more exposed to Oscar than to Jerome, so we have a broader understanding of Oscar than Jerome. But yeah, these are hints that if they repeat all the time, there is an inclination there.
A pattern.
Yeah, a pattern. Okay, good. Guys, I'm going to abandon you for this evening. Hope you enjoyed. Double work for Sven as well. You had a consultation, a workshop, everything, all pack. Good. So thank you guys. See you next time.
Thanks, Luca.
Thank you, Luca.
You share the recording, eh?
Yes, I will. I will leave me a couple of days and I will do it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.